Well, welcome, and thanks so much to you all for joining us for One World Worship in July. Just to say who we are, so you've seen Robin already. We've also got Kate. You'll see her, you'll see her a little bit later. And Lou, who bubbles with us, Tony. And we're delighted that we have our dear friend Julia with us. She's travelled down from Kent and is staying with us in the main house as a visitor, which is lovely that we're able to offer that now. Like Tony said, we are recording this, so just that you'll be aware that you might be, as part of the recording, you might be in vision later on. And do stay and chat if you'd like to. After the service, we've got our tea and coffee ready. Hopefully you'll be able to get yourself one if you want and stay with us. The theme for our worship today is walking. Many thanks to all those who've responded to our invitation to send in your reflections on walking, and we'll be weaving some of these through our worship together. So we light the candle of our circle of friends. Candle needs to be in there.
With the theme of walking, we thought we'd begin with a song. Now, if we hadn't had to swap computers, we would be able to show you the words and the music to that song while we sing it. But I'm afraid on this occasion that won't be possible after all, what we've planned. So we will sing to you. This is a song from the Othona Psalms book. In this case, it's a version of words from the Bhagavad Gita, Hindu scripture, and it's called the Song of God. And those of us who know it are going to try and sing it for you. The pilgrim on the path to God walks fearlessly, is pure in heart, for wisdom searches ceaselessly. Controls all passion, freely gives, explores the scriptures tirelessly, and sets their sense to daily life. Is humble, truthful, even-tempered, harming neither man nor beast, renouncing things that others prize, is tranquil-minded, tender-tongued, compassionate to those who suffer, gentle, modest, free from greed, unmarked by false activity, committed to the higher self, forgiving and enduring, is pure and free in mind and deed from hate or pride. Such are the marks of those who take the path to God. In advance of this afternoon's service, Oh, we're going to swap chairs.
Oh.
Yes. Thank you. A lot of people wrote in offering their own reflections on walks, whether metaphorical or physical walks, and we've been able to include lots of those contributions. We weren't able to include everybody's, and not everybody's at full length, but thank you to all of you who did decide to write in advance. And you may find that you're about to hear some of your own words read out. I should say that next week we will make available a document through the newsletter which includes all the contributions we were sent, complete, rather than edited versions. So, first of all, Sarah's walk starts us off really early.
Before the world awakes to the radiant, shining sun, my bare feet feel the freshness of the dew on the grass as I slowly circumnavigate the gift of my garden and greet all that is growing and freely releasing fragrance to become part of me for the coming day. Then I am ready to meet whomever crosses my path, and my heart sings with gratitude.
Then Ruth brings us many voices. Hello. Walk on. Free up the voice inside, Wordsworth-like. Find the strong gossamer threads that bind the village. Hello. Lovely day. Oh, hello, little dogs. What's that lorry bringing? Hello, you've got your work cut out. Susan's in her tiny shop forecourt, packing delivery boxes. Hello, how are you today? Fine if I could get a new pair of knees. Mrs. B limps with her new frame. Wave to Geoffrey behind neat curtains, straight window boxes. Morning to Jake, greying ponytail, sitting by old caravan, garden full of old washing machines. Walk on, finding the places where the slimy hand of money, detached from its purpose, barely reaches, where we connect loosely, gently with hello. Now Linda sent a picture with her words. It was a lone bench overlooking the sea, and I would have taken it for one that I sat on near here last week, Linda, if you'd not located it so specifically.
My walk, my favourite walk, is through Scarborough and up the cliff to this bench. It's all there, the bench and the ocean. When I'm here, I just sit and breathe and feel my spirit expand. It's incredibly healing. I live in such a small city, beautiful but not open, and I crave these wild, free views. For me too, though I've taken friends there, it's best visited alone, with no one speaking to distract me. I can simply just be, and I stay, often for a very long time. Then it's a steep pull back up the hill to the station, but whatever problems I came with have also dissipated.
Your contributions to this set of My Walk writings can say so much about you, not just about the path somewhere. What Jenny sent us certainly does.
I would walk. I would walk through a field of meadow flowers. I would walk on the sand to the sea. I would walk with a child holding my hand. I would walk and I would be free. I would walk shaded in a bosky, moss-green forest. I would walk with a friend beside me. I would walk and smell the scent of my roses. I would walk and I would be free. I would walk down cobbled streets and secret alleyways. I would walk and find places to just be. I would walk until I'm tired and footsore. I would walk and I would be free. That was my dream of walking in a poem. I can't walk more than a few yards, and always with pain, as I need a spinal fusion operation and can't get onto a waiting list until I have lost 7 stone in weight. Depression, anxiety, COVID lockdown, all doesn't help me with the truly massive task. But I still have faith and keep trying. And one day, when I can walk, I will come to Othona, as you are on my wish list of places to just be once mobile.
And we do hope to see you, Jenny. We do. Now, the next piece is actually written by someone who is walker by name as well as walker by nature. She says, "From my house I head west and am soon in the fields. I cross a stream to where 4 friendly donkeys are grazing below Gerard's Hill. It's a steep climb up the hill. I love to sit under one of the beech trees at the top and look out over the West Dorset landscape, stretching out to the distant shining sea. Sometimes I have sheep for company, and once a little fox. Then I continue along the ridge and drop down through a deep holloway to Stoke Abbot. Horse Hill Woods are shady and full of bluebells in spring. Coming out of the woods, it's a trek across some fields and through a very untidy farm to get to Little Giant Wood. Last time I was there, 5 deer stepped out of the wood without seeing me, and there were orchids and butterflies. Heading back towards Bedminster, avoiding the very boggy patch by the stream where I once got seriously stuck, I take the track which allows sad glimpses of ruined, burnt out Parnham House through the trees. Then home for tea."
Right.
Now, Judith is one of those who kindly sent more material than we can use. So I've chosen just one incident for today's reading.
Walking with my dog Flora and my friend with her 2 small spaniels this morning, the little spaniel, named Ruby, was spooked by a small tree which was being blown by the wind. She barked, growled and whined, quite troubled. I wondered what she saw in this tree, what we could not see. Who knows?
And that's the last of our My Walk contributions at the moment, but we'll be returning to more of them in a few minutes' time. We're going to swap seats again. Thank you.
So,
Well, this swapping of seats, I should say, is just a result of our having to change computers in midstream.
we are going to hear a prayer written by Lunig. His book, When I Speak to You, when I talk to you, is one of the ones that we have in chapel here, and so often, particularly in lockdown, we found his prayers are really speaking to our situation. And Lou's going to read one for us now. Thank you.
Dear God, we pray for another way of being, another way of knowing. Across the difficult terrain of our existence, We have attempted to build a highway, and in so doing have lost our footpath. God, lead us to our footpath. Lead us there where in simplicity we may move at the speed of natural creatures and feel the earth's love beneath our feet. Lead us there where step by step we may feel the movement of creation in our hearts. And lead us there where side by side we may feel the embrace of the common soul. Nothing can be loved at speed. God, lead us to the slow path, to the joyous insights of the pilgrim, another way of knowing, another way of being. Amen.
Amen. A few moments of reflection, which I've entitled, Nothing Can Be Loved at Speed. In that prayer by Lunig, one of the desires that is expressed is for a footpath rather than a highway, and a yearning to discover a natural speed for travelling, so that we can feel the earth's love beneath our feet. For some of us, lockdown has become a time when walking has become important to us once again, or perhaps for the first time. We've already heard from a number of you about your recent experiences of walking or of dreaming of walking, and we'll hear more a little bit later. And for some of you, we know, because you've been telling us, that even if you haven't been able to get out yourselves, you valued the walks that have accompanied many of the Othona newsletters in the last few months. I've enjoyed reading a book by Barbara Brown Taylor called An Altar in the World. And in it, she encourages her readers to see very ordinary activities, such as walking, as spiritual activities, or at least to see that they have the potential to be spiritual. She mentions how important walking is within many faith traditions. For example, the pilgrimage to Mecca for Muslims, and how labyrinths have become valued by people across many faith traditions and none. But she wants us to see that even ordinary walking has this potential. We don't have to journey to a particular holy place. And indeed, what she suggests is that it is the walks that do not have a particular destination in mind that can be among the most nourishing, where we are focused not on arriving, but on journeying. It is on the journey when we can learn what we need to know about being human with other people, about being human in creation, and about being human before what some of us call God, something, someone bigger than ourselves. Nothing can be loved at speed. Again, going back to that Lunig prayer, he talks of the desire to find a footpath so that we can move at the speed of natural creatures. Well, natural creatures have very different speeds at which they move. The snails that I spy finding their way into the polytunnel move very slowly. So it is possible to remove at least some of them from our prize vegetables before they've done too much harm. The buzzards that we often see flying overhead here display an effortless grace as they hover and glide, but I'm sure they move far more quickly than their prey likes once they've spotted their lunch on the ground below them. And for humans, what is our natural speed? Well, it's often thought that we have an average walking speed of about 3 miles an hour. The Japanese writer and theologian Kazuki Koyama believes that for humans, 3 miles an hour is the speed of love. This is what he says. Love has its speed. It is an inner speed. It is a spiritual speed. It is a different kind of speed from the technological speed to which we are accustomed. It is slow, yet it is lord over all other speeds, since it is the speed of love. It goes on in the depth of our life, whether we notice or not, whether we are currently hit by storm or not, at 3 miles an hour. It is the speed we walk, and therefore it is the speed the love of God walks. And so to finish this reflection, I would want to say, like Lunig, nothing can be loved at speed, but that at 3 miles an hour, everything, everyone can be loved. So let's have some moments together of shared silence.
Nothing can be loved at speed. Thank you, Liz. We're going to hear now some more of your accounts of moving at walking pace. And the one I'm going to start with was actually written by somebody in this room. But Louise has asked me to read it rather than her. What a lovely, peaceful walk. Bucolic indeed. glorious views in all directions, and there ahead, a field of cows. Not in the field ahead, but in our field. And no, not cows, but bullocks, about 20 of them, all running towards us. We stopped. No, we shouted. Go, we shouted. They didn't go. A standoff. They had surrounded us, shoulder to shoulder, and we could go neither forward nor back. No help in sight. We edged forward. Forward was closer than back, fighting the desire to run. We skirted the edge of the field, and they were miraculously held back by some sort of force field, perhaps of our fear. Some very long minutes passed before we found a way out of their territory. All future walks will avoid anything resembling farmland. Perhaps I should reveal that the other person on that walk with Lou was Liz, so they're both recognising that story. Now we move on to a contribution from Rosemary. Rosemary, I'm sorry we couldn't include your whole poem this afternoon, but here is part of it.
Lockdown. Is it selfishness or a proper self-love to endure lockdown and be glad of it? For some it was no endurance. One and another acknowledged how they enjoyed the quiet of the skies, less traffic, clearer air, fewer people about, more friendliness on the streets, saying thank you, good morning to total strangers. How they enjoyed more time to sit and think, take stock of life, go for a walk and appreciate the countryside and other people's gardens. The time to clear out years of accumulated things. Time to be with family via Zoom. More time spent together across the miles than ever normal life allowed. The acceptance of discipline, that we can't always instantly do just what we fancy, that we belong to the wider community, are affected by and affect it, that other people matter. The slower, healthier pace of life, when only walking or cycling is allowed.
Paul is another one whose contribution I'm afraid I had to shorten for this afternoon, but it's very vivid for anybody like me who grew up in the good county of Essex.
I do not take as many walks as I should, car or bike these days. When we had a dog, we walked every day. So when I took my car to the garage to have the brakes fixed, I would sit in the park and read a book. It was a lovely sunny morning and I had forgotten my book, so I walked along the cliff top towards Southend. The tide was out, but the Southend mud was covered in green eelgrass, and the sun was shining on the mud, making it silver. On the horizon, one big container ship was sitting on the edge, about to fall off.
I love that. I can see the Southend mud and I can see those ships about to fall off. Where we are here, container ships, when we see them, are always right on the horizon because that's where the shipping lane is. They don't come in any nearer. Now, Jackie's walk turns out really to be more like time travel. A journey. I've been walking backwards, tracing an uncertain path from the known to the unknown, across flickering screens, through grainy black and white images, catching up threads, faint lines, from Cambridge to Carmarthen. April the 26th, 1930, aged 11, from Southampton to New Zealand, ticket number A20. A small boy travelling alone to join your father, leaving far behind your mother and brother. 13th December 1941, Stalag 1VD. There is a photo on the online cenotaph. You're in uniform, your face shaded by your hat. I can't see your eyes clearly, but your smile echoes my father's, your brother. Finally, I found you, and the weight of tears, of loss and separation, floods back across the generations. And finally for today, let's hear from Les, a dedicated pedestrian right here in Dorset.
I try to walk every day. My route always takes me along quiet lanes and across meadows, around field edges and through woodland. Sometimes I find I have company. I cross a meadow of sheep or cattle. My steps are enlivened by the fluttering of butterflies or tiny day-flying moths. The flowers along the way are the haunt of bees and hoverflies. I seldom see another human. And so that daily walk has slowly evolved, taking on a new dimension. As I step out into those green fields, contemplate the surrounding hills and take in the changing panorama of the sky, a simple walk in the country becomes a walking meditation. The encounters with sheep and cows, bees and butterflies, their colours and sounds and aromas all connect me with nature in its wonder and variety. The solitude wipes clean the slate of words, so many words. And so what started out as a good idea and some healthy exercise has become a time of spiritual refreshment, to be anticipated, revelled in, absorbed through every sense.
Thank you. Anticipated, revelled in, absorbed through every sense. I think we need to swap seats once more, friends. Musical chairs.
Yes. So, just some brief notices now before we sing our final song and bring our worship to a close. So, it would be lovely to see some of you staying on after the service and having a chat over Zoom. So, do that if you would like to.
Couple of things from me. First, as you'll know, many of you, we are immensely grateful for the kind of responses we've had since I wrote a week ago, telling people a little bit more about Othona's financial situation. Such generosity, but what you give in other ways is just as important, by your presence on an afternoon like this, by the contributions some of you wrote in, and I hear from a lot of you on other occasions by email, not necessarily giving contributions for all my worship. So that's great, and of course we look forward to time when we'll be able to reach you in person here as well. But thanks for all of that. And I also wanted to say, a reminder, on Thursday, we've got a bit of a little experiment, a special singing evening by Zoom. It'll be led from either this room here or from the chapel by Juliet Russell, who was due to be leading her very first singing weekend at Othona in October, the very beginning of October. That one, I'm afraid, is not going to be able to go ahead. But this Thursday, if it's successful and people appreciate it, may continue on other Thursday evenings through July and August. So do give it a try. Nobody's going to know if you sing or not, because for technical reasons, you'll be muted. You'll be able to hear us singing, Juliet and anybody with her in this room singing, And you'll be able to sing along. You'll hear the different harmony parts. It'll all be taught by ear. You don't have to know how to read music or anything like that. And she is a remarkable singer. We had her lined up for a concert back in May, which wasn't able to go ahead at all. But I'm really delighted that she wants to do some things with Othona. And I hope that some of you may join us on Thursday. Or if you know somebody else who's a singer who's missing out on the experience of singing during this time, then do feel free to forward the invitation to them. Anybody can join in. Juliet would love to have numbers of people joining us on Thursday evening. I think it's 8 till 9:15 if memory serves. But all the details are in the last newsletter you've got. Or just email me if that's not entirely clear. Thanks.
Great. And just to say, we will be offering a One World Worship next month, and that will be on Sunday the 9th of August, same start time as usual. So it'd be lovely if you're able to join us then. Obviously we'll be sending out a reminder and a link nearer the time. So now I think we're going to have our closing song, and hopefully you will all join in.
Well, yeah, well, again, we were going to be able to flash up on the screen the words for you, but we can't do that because of the second computer not being available. So I'm going to tell you the words now. They're pretty simple, and there are 3 words that I insist everybody has to join in with. Doesn't matter what note you're on, because we can't hear you. It doesn't matter whether you. I like to get people shouting those words.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So the song goes like this. The words are: we are going. Heaven knows where we're going, but we know within, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we'll get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. And if you sing nothing else, sing or shout out muddy and rough. Muddy and rough, okay? And we sing this as a way of blessing each other on the road, don't we, on the path together. We'll probably sing it 3 times through, I think. Yeah, so that by the end you'll definitely know the tune, and there's slight idiosyncrasy of timing and things in it, and be joining in heartily at home. This will bring the formal bit of today's service to a close. This is our blessing goodbye, but do stay on, as I said, to chat afterwards if you're able to, want to. Oh, this won't bring it to the end, actually. The blowing out of the candle after the song will bring it to a close. I beg your pardon. So, here we go. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Last time, everybody joined in. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, we know we will. That feels like the situation of many of our lives summed up more than ever just at the moment. Really does. Bless us all on the path. Julia is going to blow out the candle as earlier on she lit it.